Good afternoon, guys. Today we're gonna prepare risotto. Risotto basically is the most important part is from the stock. I already cleaned the veg. I peel carrots, celery, I trim broccoli and the spring onion. So all the wastage you don't throw in the bin, but you use to make the stock. Stock, water, and the trimming of the veg. You can add a pinch of salt, but not too much. And you can start to boil. Okay, in the meantime, I boil the risotto. I cut the veg. I cut broccoli in fleuret, like a garnish. Carrots, I can cut in angle, like that. You see, I twist. I want to give another kick because I think risotto with veg is easy, is simple, but I want to give a modern kick. Not the classic primavera, risotto primavera like we call in Italy. Different cut as well of veg. Especially you can use everything you want, everything you have in the fridge. I prefer to use this, and if you want to follow the season, is the best way because you got the freshest ingredients. Otherwise, you can do veg risotto. Is healthy anyway, is a healthy risotto anyway. So now I'm gonna move the stock in another plancha and I sear the veg, a sort of searing with olive oil. This is a fast cooking, it's not long cooking because I want to preserve and to save the color of veg. The first, carrots, because are the hardest, and after, the other veg. Always pinch of salt. I don't blanch the veg on purpose to keep and to preserve the color and the crunchiness because I want a different texture, a different kick at the end. In the meantime, I start to boil the stock. We can start to cook the risotto, I think in 1-2 minutes. The veg start to get brown color. And if you have kids at home, for example, if you want to have a different texture, softer, you can blanch obviously the veg and pass in the pan. I prefer crunchiness. Okay, now I start with the risotto. Risotto is easy to do, but you have to follow a secret. Oil. Be careful when you do the risotto, remember has to boil the stock, all the time boiling stock. Don't add the stock not boiling because you break the cooking and the grain is gonna be broken during the cooking, okay? Some people add wine or something else. I don't add white wine or red wine. Personally, I prefer to leave neutral the taste because the risotto gonna take the taste from the ingredients they are inside. If you are not sure about when the rice is ready, you can do this. You can touch. If it's hot, is the right moment. Okay? So, like this. You see, the cooking is not interrupted. This means the grain of the rice will be cooked in the correct way. Okay, normally risotto need between 15 and 16 minutes, but I prefer to take away from the fire at 13-14 minutes to give the time to rest a bit and to add all the ingredients, to add butter and pecorino cheese for a perfect mantecatura. Mantecatura is when you create the emulsion between two fat, butter and cheese. In Italy, we say that there is a school of thinking. When you do the risotto, normally risotto. I saw a lot of people in my life twist the risotto all the time like that. For me, personally, what I think is useless because if you twist a lot, there is a risk you break the grain. Otherwise, you leave him cooking alone in his stock and he's cooked straight away himself. Oh, you add a bit of stock. There is a way to check the cooking of risotto. You can take a grain of rice and you can cut in the middle. If you see the white point big, it needs more time. If the white part of risotto inside the grain is small, it means the rice is almost cooked. Remember this, because this is important to check the cooking time. If you are not sure, if you don't feel comfortable, you can put a timing. Like when you start the rice, you can put an alarm, 15 minutes, and you are sure you're not gonna serve overcooked or raw, or you're gonna serve the right risotto. Another trick I can give you today is to make a richer risotto. Instead to cook white, you can add, for example, like I do at the restaurant, for example, when I do risotto with asparagus, I put inside a puree of asparagus. So you can change the color, you can add the kick. But I do white risotto on purpose because I want to leave white with the chromatic shock with the veg on the top like garnish. I prefer not mix like old style risotto primavera like in Italy 80 years old. Now I turn a bit risotto because I don't want to stick on the bottom, but it's almost done. I don't need to taste and to try because I see the color. Okay, now I'm gonna create the emulsion, mantecatura. Now, the first is a bit to rest, butter. Okay. I add olive oil, just a bit of olive oil because we are Italian anyway. And we start to create an emulsion. Sometimes to give another kick, you can use for example, I used to do risotto with 2-3 different type of butter. Acid, sweet, to give a weird, sometimes a weird consistency. The right mantecatura of risotto is called all'onda, the wave, okay? Now I add the cheese and I'm gonna terminate the mantecatura. This is mantecatura. This is when you call risotto all'onda. You see the wave, just a bit of stock, the risotto is ready to plate up. Okay, rice all'onda, risotto all'onda. I plate up the risotto. Okay, now there are two schools of thinking. Someone beat the risotto on the bottom of like this, on the bottom of the plate to make flat. But I do that. It's more gentle. I prefer. Also, because the risotto, if you enlarge the risotto on the plate, gonna cool down straight away. So I prefer to keep a bit, not mountain, but not too much flat. Now I add the garnish. I think it's amusing to mix and fold the risotto with the crunchy veg to taste and to meet the different crunchiness and consistency, isn't it? Any time you bite the risotto. So on purpose, I decide to don't mix the veg with the risotto and enjoy.